Good evening. Welcome to World News. I am Wisdom Onisi. First, the headlines. DSS releases to end bad governance protesters in Kaduna. Russia evacuates 30,000 people from Ukraine border. Taiwan president remarks attracts new dreams from China. And on sport, on tennis, Djokovic denied 100th title as Sinner wins the Shagar. Now the news in details. The Senate passes supplementary appropriation bill. The Nigerian Senate has passed the appropriation bill till 31st December 2024. The implementation of the 2023 supplementary by implication would run side by side with that of the 2024, which stands at 28.78 trillion naira. The passage follows the emergency plenary convened, which was presided by the Senate President Godswill Akpabio. The 2023 supplementary budget bill was sponsored by the Senate leader and senator representing Ekiti Central Senatorial District, Michael Bamidele Opeyemi, for its implementation to be extended. In his remarks, the Senate President Godswill Akpabio thanked senators for their understanding and patriotism and expressed his belief that the implementation would allow the executive to complete all abandoned projects. Away from that, the Department of State Service, DSS, over the weekend released to end bad governance protesters who have been in detention in Kaduna. Reports stated yesterday that the 38 detained protesters would appear before Justice Nwite for further hearing on their bail. The detained protesters have been in custody for over 62 days. Meanwhile, Deji Adeyeju, counsel to the protesters, in an exclusive chat with newsmen, expressed concern over the lack of transparency in the judicial process. According to Adeyeju, authorities claim to have filed charges, but the team was yet to receive any document. He stated that the development highlights the inconsistencies in the handling of protest-related cases nationwide. Adeyeju added that efforts are ongoing in Sokoto as 2 protesters have been released in the northwest region. Away from that, we'll have you know that the Nigerian Army has reaffirmed its commitment to the ongoing fight against insecurity, particularly the scourge of banditry affecting various parts of the country. Kevin Alibe, commander of the Training and Doctrine Command, gave his assurance during a gathering for participants of the 2024 Captain to Major Practical Promotion Examination held in Akure, Ondo State, over the weekend. Addressing the officers, Alibe emphasized the need for sustained effort in tackling the country's security challenges, which include banditry, kidnapping, and external threats. He stressed that the Army's mission to secure the nation remains unwavering, and officers must remain prepared to confront these issues head-on. When we return, news from other parts of Africa. Stay with us.
This is Hillstv. Quality broadcasting is what we'll bring to you. Now we be this soul.
Hillstv, Polka.
Welcome back. Now news from other parts of Africa. In a statement by the Foreign Affairs Ministry, Cairo denied taking side in Sudan war. It said Egypt's sole focus was on ending the war and protecting civilians. These allegations came amidst intensive Egyptian moves to stop the war, protect civilians, and strengthen the international response to humanitarian relief plans, the ministry said. In a statement, Mohamed Hamdan Dagalo claimed that Sukhoi 29 fighter jet belonging to Egypt had bombarded RSF position in Jabal Moyal for hours on October 5th, allowing Sudanese army to retake the area. Sudan's army went on the offensive in mid-September, retaking significant ground from the RSF. Sudan Army ruler Abdel Fattah al-Burhan has demanded rebel disarmament as a condition for talks. Away from that, less than half of Zambia's 20 million people had access to electricity before Kariba's problem. Millions more have now been forced to adjust as mothers find different ways to cook for their families and children do their homework by candlelight. Zambians are facing a daily struggle to find electricity during a climate-related energy crisis that's robbed the southern African country of almost all its power.
It is quite a challenge because here, immediately when power goes, immediately the water stops coming out. So it is a challenge. As you know, water is very essential. And then the other challenge is that, you know, things in the fridge, she's even tired of throwing them off because of this same power outage, things are getting rotten in the fridge.
Basically, to diversify our energy mix, the 85% dependency on hydro obviously has been a risk because we needed to have a mix of renewable and non-renewable energy sources so that in case one fails, we are not put in a crisis like the one we are in. So that has been our input into government.
Zambia's worst electricity blackout in memory have been caused by a severe drought in the region that has left the critical Kariba Dam, the source of Lake Mosauda's woes, with insufficient water to run its hydroelectric turbines. Kariba is the largest man-made lake in the world by volume and lies 200 kilometers, that is 125 miles south of Lusaka in the border between Zambia and Zimbabwe. Now we move to other parts of the world after this break. Stay with us.
This is Hillstv. Quality broadcasting is what we'll bring to you. Now we be this
Hillstv.
Welcome back. Now news from other parts of the world. Some 30,415 people, including nearly 8,000 children, have been evacuated from areas bordering Ukraine due to shelling and attacks, Russia Human Rights Commissioner said in remarks published on Monday. Tayana Moskova, the commissioner, told newsmen that the evacuees have been placed in nearly 1,000 temporary accommodation centers across Russia. Ukraine, subjected to an invasion from Russia since February 2022, has reiterated with shelling, and all this launched an incursion into the Kursk region in August, taking control of dozens of settlements and holding most positions since. Moskova said she had received appeals regardless, said in a response to targeting of the UN peacekeeping mission in the Lebanon known as UNIFIL by the Israel Defense Forces. Such attacks against UN peacekeepers constitute a grave violation of UNIFIL peacemakers in Lebanon and Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin hostilities. In his statement, Borrell said all actors in the country prosperity. In another news, we have that China on Monday launched new military drills off the coast of Taiwan in what it described as punishment for a speech given by its president William Lai when he vowed to resist annexation or encroachment upon their sovereignty. China claims the self-governing island of Taiwan as its own, and its president Xi Jinping has vowed to retake it by force if necessary. Taiwan said it detected 34 naval vessels and 125 aircraft in formation around the island on Monday. Maps published indicated its forces were positioned around the whole island. It said later that the drills had been successfully concluded. The Chinese military, known as the People's Liberation Army, said the drills involved all wings of the army. And up next is business. Stay with us. Welcome back now to business news. The Securities and Exchange Commission has approved the extension of Nigerian Breweries PLC 599.1 billion right issues. The acceptance period, initially scheduled to close on October 11th, has been extended to Friday, October 18, 2024, following the SEC's approval. In a statement signed by the Legal Director Secretary of Nigerian Breweries, Uaboy Agbabaku, expressed its pleasure in notifying stakeholders and the Nigerian Exchange Limited of the extension. Agbabaku explained that the right issue, which commenced on September 2 and was supposed to close on September 11th, had been extended to accommodate disruption caused by public holidays during the initial acceptance period. He noted that the extension was designed to ensure that stakeholders have sufficient time to subscribe to their rights. A second Donald Trump presidency could lead to significantly lower economic growth in several Asian economies, with China, South Korea, and Vietnam particularly affected. Under its worst-case scenario, real GDP in those three countries in 2028 could be 1% or more below expectation if U.S. trade protectionism increases. The former president, as part of his speech to voters in the knife-edge election, has floated plans to blanket tariffs of 10% to 20% on virtually all imports, as well as tariffs of 60% or more on goods from China. Intensified trade tensions may have significant effects for countries and companies that export goods to the U.S., said Finch. It said India would be relatively unaffected. Novak Djokovic missed the opportunity to claim the 100th title of his stellar career as Jannik Sinner won a high-quality Shanghai Master Final. World number one Sinner, 23 years, continued his dominant form this season with a 7-6, that is 7-4, 6-3 victory over the 37-year-old Serb. Djokovic, who was aiming to become only the third man after Jimmy Connors, who would have 109, and watching Roger Federer 103 to chalk up a ton of titles. Cena, who continues to have a doping case lingering in the background despite being initially cleared of wrongdoing, played impeccably to pick up his 7th title of remarkable year.
This is Hillstv. Quality broadcasting is what we'll bring to you. Now we be this
Hillstv, Polka.
Welcome back. Now the rest of the news. Israel's military stated that a Hezbollah drone killed 4 soldiers at one of its northern bases over the weekend, as on an Israeli base since 23 September, when Israel intensified its attack on Hezbollah in Lebanon. Emergency services reported more than 60 wounded. Authorities in Gaza meanwhile said the death toll from an Israeli strike. We told you that protesters in Kaduna, we informed you that Russia evacuated 30,000 people from Ukraine border, and we told you that Taiwan president remarks attracts Cena wins in Shaddai. Remember